There's something powerful about creating something with meaning. Today I'm turning a simple wooden cross into a faith-filled Easter keepsake using delicate lily rice paper, molded clay details, and beautiful layered textures. This isn't just an Easter craft. It's a quiet moment of reflection, creativity, and heart. Hello, my crafty friends. I'm Donna from Mason Creations, etc., and welcome to my channel. If you're ready to create something beautiful, my friends, let's make a mess. This awesome MDF wooden cross has the word faith attached at the side. This is going to be a really special Easter project. From the beautiful Easter lily rice paper to the air dry clay that looks like real silver. So I'm going to get started by giving it a coat of white paint since I'll be decoupaging an image on the cross. I'm using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color cotton. I'm going to use a sponge to apply the paint because it lays down more paint than a brush can. I usually use a sponge when painting a large area. Make sure you always paint white or a very light off-white wherever you're going to decoupage rice paper or a napkin. White allows the colors of your images to look more vibrant. Dark colors will make your images look dark and muddy. And then I let this dry for about 30 minutes. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. While the paint is drying, I'm going to get this gorgeous paper prepped and ready to decoupage. I'm removing all the white edges by using a water brush, which will make the paper much easier to tear. A water brush has a cartridge that you fill with water and then brush it on the napkin or rice paper. The water dispenses easily, so this is really convenient. You always want to tear your rice paper or napkin instead of cutting it. A torn edge is much easier to blend than a sharp cut edge. I'm lining up this paper so the large lilies are in the center of the cross, just a little bit to the left. I removed some of the paper that would be ending up over the wording. I'm using Polyvine Heavy Duty Varnish in a satin finish as my decoupage adhesive today. You can use this product as a varnish and an adhesive, which is true for all the Polyvine formulas. It works so much better than the most popular brand of decoupage glue that takes 28 days to completely dry and cure. This isn't a glue, so it doesn't go on thick and lumpy. Dries to the touch in 1 hour and is completely cured in less than a week. It's a varnish, so it dries crystal clear and will never yellow. All the Polyvine formulas can be used as a decoupage adhesive, so feel free to use whichever one you have on hand. If you've been using Polyvine products, you're going to notice that they've changed all the labels and some of the product names. So when ordering, don't think that you've been given an incorrect product. The Heavy Duty Wood Varnish is now Heavy Duty Varnish, and the Heavy Duty Extreme Varnish is now Exterior Extreme Varnish. I hope you love and enjoy these products as much as I do. I misted a cut-up piece of plastic from a Ziploc bag. I laid this down on my paper and rubbed out any wrinkles or bubbles. And I'll let this dry for a couple hours. The paper is dry now, and it's time to remove all the excess hanging over all the edges. I'm doing it the easy way between the letters and using my Dremel. You can use regular sandpaper as well. I'm sanding a little on top of the letters to make sure I removed any loose pieces of paper. I made a couple of cuts so I'd be able to get to the edges. I always make the rice paper or napkin a little bit longer than what I'm going to need so that I can get a nice clean edge. I'm going to do this with a medium grit sandpaper. I'm running the sandpaper over the edge of my piece in a downward motion. Make sure you don't go upward, you'll risk lifting your rice paper or napkin. The sandpaper cuts off the paper, leaving a very clean edge. Instead of painting all the white areas, I'm going to do something different. Make sure you stick around to see how I get rid of all that white. This cross was too large for the rice paper, but no worries, I'm going to make it work. I have some large pieces left over that I'm going to piece together. But you can't just glue them on there. Rice paper is translucent, and you'll be able to see the pattern from the bottom piece through the top piece. I'm going to fussy cut around some of the flowers so the top piece blends in with the picture. I don't want it to look like I just glued a random piece of paper down. It needs to make sense. So I'm trimming around the flower petals and removing some of the background. But I still can't just glue them down now. There's a process to make this work and blend in perfectly. Because you're watching this video today, decoupagenapkins.com is going to give you a 10% discount on one order that's a minimum of at least $50. This is a one-time discount and is good on your entire order when you use the code MASON10 in all caps at checkout. You can also use this discount in conjunction with the free shipping on orders over $75. So now you can get that mold you've been eyeing or some additional rice papers you've been wanting. Even if you've been ordering from them in the past, you can still take advantage of this one-time 10% discount when using the code above. I'll leave all this information for you in my description box below. To find my description box, click on the word more just below the title of this video. I'm going to coat the backside of the rice paper pieces with my heavy-duty varnish to seal it. I'm doing this on a silicone mat that came with a redesigned toolkit. I want the paper to peel off nicely after it dries, so silicone is the answer. I'm going to need to paint the backs of the paper with white paint, but it needs to be sealed first or the paint will seep through the fibers of the rice paper. I'm going to give them 2 coats of the varnish, drying 1 hour between coats. Where are you all watching from, my crafty friends? Let me know in the comments. I just love to see what cities and countries all my friends are watching from. I'm filming from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. While the paper is still translucent, I'm tracing around the F so I can fit the paper perfectly in that tiny section. Now I'm going to paint the backs of my fill-in pieces white so they're no longer transparent at all. I'll be able to place them on the cross over top of the other rice paper, and you won't be able to see through them at all. I test all the products that I recommend in my videos. I won't recommend anything that I haven't used myself and prefer. If I'm recommending it, you can bet it's a great product. Each product will be listed in my description box below and will have a blue link to make it easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. The white paint on the backs of my fill-in pieces are dry now, so I'm going to attach them to the cross using my varnish. They will just blend in with the rest of the pattern on the rice paper. I sprayed some plastic with water and smoothed them down just like I did with a large piece of rice paper. decoupagenapkins.com has an amazing selection of napkins, and the best part is that you can purchase them individually. They also carry a wide range of craft supplies, including rice paper, paints, clay, molds, and an excellent selection of polyvine products. With thousands of items available and new products being added regularly, it's truly a one-stop shop for crafters. Orders are carefully packed and shipped quickly. You'll earn special bonus points on orders over $100. Additional offers may vary and are often seasonal, so be sure to check their website for current deals. You'll find any promotions displayed in the banner at the top of their homepage. If you subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address, you'll receive 10% off your next order. This discount is separate from the Mason 10 code and can be used on a separate purchase. I'll leave links to all the products I use in the description box below, along with more details on the current promotions. Please note that all offers are subject to change. To find my description box, click on the word "More" below the title of this video. I'll let this dry for several hours. After it dried, I gave the cross a coat of varnish to protect the little pieces that I added and let that dry for another hour. And this is how you get an amazing shine with this varnish. I let the first coat dry for an hour and now I'm sanding it very lightly with a fine grit sandpaper. I'll wipe off the dust and then give it another coat of varnish. You can repeat this process as many times as you like. Each time you'll get a little bit more of that flawless shine that Polyvine Heavy Duty Varnish can provide. Make sure you allow it to dry for a full hour between coats. I'm using a special paintbrush that is made by Polyvine specifically for their varnishes. It's wonderful and spreads the varnish out nicely, eliminating brush marks. I'm going to add some shadowing around all the edges of the cross. I'm using brown ink and a soft ink brush. I'm applying it in a circular motion and just catching the edges. This will add a little dimension to your piece so it doesn't look so flat. You're going to see me use a lot of different tools that make life so much easier. Things like a turquoise cup cradle to keep round objects from getting away, a bow dabra that makes bows in a snap, a water brush for separating rice paper and napkins, nail art brushes for fine detail work, palette knives, a rhinestone picker, and others. All of these items are listed in my description box below and my favorite tools section, just in case you'd like to check any of them out. I'm using Pentart paint in the color gold to paint around the edges of the lettering. I actually painted the lettering gold too, but I didn't like the way it looked. It blended in with the paper a little too much. You'll be seeing it gold in just a minute, but that's going to be changed a little later on down the road. I'm sure you guys have noticed that I use a lot of Dixie Belle and Pentart paints. These are my absolute favorites. They both go on super smooth and creamy with really good coverage. I rarely, if ever, need a second coat of Pentart, and that goes for the metallic colors as well. I used the flat side of a sponge dauber to paint the gold around the edges on the cross. The flat side of the sponge puts the paint on so clean, it doesn't get everywhere like it would with a brush. I did need to use a small brush to get inside the corners. I'm using my favorite, Doss clay, to make some embellishments for this project. Doss clay is so easy to work with, dries quickly, and has very little shrinkage or cracking when dry. It's perfect for making molded pieces. After pressing the clay into the mold, I'm scraping off the excess with my palette knife. Now I'm smoothing the clay out with some water. Then I'll put them in the freezer for 20 minutes. Freezing the clay makes it rigid, so they just pop out of the mold easily. No fragile pieces will break off. Fresh out of the freezer, watch how easily these just pop out of the molds. No delicate little pieces will break off. They are frozen solids, so I'll need to let them thaw for a few minutes, but not in the mold. Make sure you remove them from the mold right away as soon as you take them out of the freezer. I'm going to use Aleene's tacky glue to add my molded clay to my piece. I need to add this while the clay is still wet so it'll conform to the piece as it dries. This is the best glue I've found for attaching wet clay. If any glue seeps out from under the clay, I'm removing it right away with a clean, damp brush. I'm also pressing down all the edges of the clay very delicately to make sure they're all connecting with the piece. I painted over the gold on the lettering with Pentart Gray, and now I'm adding Pentart Platinum over top of the gray. The lettering will definitely stand out now, and they're going to match what I plan on doing with the clay embellishments. I'm going to paint them a base color of the platinum as well. The flower on the left of the cross has platinum gray tones, so everything is going to match up nicely. I did leave the gold edge on the lettering. I'm going for the mixed metal look. I let all the paint dry and then I gave the entire cross, including the embellishments and lettering, a coat of varnish. And then I'll let that dry for about an hour. I'm going to add a little depth and dimension by doing an antiquing technique. I'm using folk art antiquing medium in the color wooden bucket brown. I put a few drops in a little paper cup and added some water. I prefer my antique mediums somewhat runny. I'm brushing my antique on the piece, going over and around all the embellishments. I'm doing this in sections and wiping the antique off with a soft dry cloth right away before it can dry. Because of the gloss finish, it will wipe off the surface and stay in all the cracks and crevices, showing the details of the mold. Antiquing gives your embellishments some depth and dimension, making everything look 3D instead of flat. What a difference it makes. Everything just comes to life now. I'm antiquing the word faith too, or the platinum colors won't match, because antiquing changes the tone of your paint color. Since I use a lot of the heavy-duty varnish, I get it in the 500 milliliter bottle, which is just over 16 ounces, instead of the 100 milliliter bottle. The larger size gives me 5 times the product for only about 3.5 times the cost. If this is a staple in your craft room, upgrading to the larger bottle can save you a significant amount of money in the long run. I also ran my brush along the edges of each letter to darken up the edges and make them stand out. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. When you click the like button, a new hype button shows up. If you click that, you'll be able to send points to my channel. YouTube will then send this video out to more viewers. This is great for my channel. I appreciate you for doing that. You won't want to miss any of the new projects coming up, so don't forget to subscribe. I used this outstanding detail brush to outline the letters that are touching the rice paper. This brush has a little bit longer bristles that are soft and float easily along the lines. It's the first time I've used this brush and I like it a lot. I'll link it for you in my description box. I let the antiquing dry for a couple hours and then added a coat of varnish over the entire cross to protect all the antiquing I just did. And then I'll let that dry for about an hour. Okay, my friends, here comes the glitz. I'm using redesigned decor wax in the color Eternal, which is just a gorgeous gold. The last coat of varnish was my final coat. This is a wax and doesn't need to be sealed. I'm putting it on all 4 of the clay embellishments, and I'm rubbing it on all the edges of the cross as well, just to make them shine a little. I'm putting a small amount of the rub on my finger and rubbing it together with my thumb. Smearing it around like that prevents a large amount of your product ending up in one place. Okay, here's where it's going to get really fun. I'm using a chrome marker to highlight the clay embellishments. I'm just going to add it to the very tops of all the details. After I do this, the clay embellishments will look like a piece of aged silver. You will never be able to tell that they are made of clay. This is just the icing on the cake. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I used a larger chrome marker that came with the set to add some shimmer to the writing. Because the base is wood, it didn't have the same effect as the clay embellishments, but it did give it some really pretty shine when the light hits it. I've added a link to a video that I think you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that video. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.